Okay. Welcome back, folks. It's Electric North Podcast. We're doing something a little bit different. We are creating tier lists of the U.S. national parks.
Even
Tyler?
though we've only been to what, 30 something each of us.
We've been to roughly half of them. That's pretty good.
So yeah, I guess that's fair. Halfway. It's like the halfway rating.
Yeah.
What are the numbers? Do you know your number?
I think last time I counted, I was at 36, I want to say.
Okay, that's what I thought you were at. And that means Arthur is at 39, 38?
Okay, well, for some reason I thought it would be like 35, but that
Oh,
doesn't
you're
make
definitely,
sense.
I think I'm at 38, and I think you're one more ahead of me.
Okay, well, you know what? We'll rate them and then we'll know.
Okay, so Arcadia, we haven't gone to. American Samoa, we haven't gone to. Who wants to go first?
Arches.
So, well, before we start, what are the rules for rating? Is there any criteria? Just whatever you want?
Well, these are okay, this third list is my list, and these are my. Dope AF, worth the trip, sure, don't go out of your way. If everything else is closed in, you have nothing better to do.
So you have no scientific method for rating it?
No, this is 100% my personal opinion about these parks. Like, I'm gonna rip into that fucking congaree, and it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with the park being.
Okay, yeah, so it's completely personal opinion is what you're saying.
Pretty much, yeah. All right. Arthur, do you want to start on Arches? Because I feel like you liked Arches.
Well, I think we all liked Arches. Arches? Well, okay, let's talk about Arches. We went to Arches, I'm thinking 2018, was that it?
Maybe.
And
So
we went
give or take a
to
year
the
for
Delicate Arch, and
It's in
we
the
also,
picture.
yeah, that's the Delicate Arch in the picture, and we also went to the Twin Arches, right? And we saw the sunset at the Twin Arches. So Arches, I'm gonna have to put an S tier for sure.
Top tier.
An
Starting
easy
off
S
with a
tier.
bang.
The only downside to Arches was how hot it was. Everything beyond that, the arches were dope. The hike was dope. We hiked to the Delicate Arch. Yeah, and we saw so little, and I know there's like 50 other arches we could have gone to. So
Yeah, we could. I would definitely do the art.
I remember the brochure saying that there's like over 100 arches or something. Some crazy amount of arches.
Not only is it S tier, but I would even go back to it. That's how S tier it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, we're back, and we were talking about arches, and the only thing that I was going to add is I remember how hot it was. I think that was like the first time I had ever pulled like a shirt over my like head just for protection, and I had like my hat on top of it because it was so hot, and I was burning. I could just feel like my back burning up. A great park. Andy, are you rating it S tier as well?
I would put it as a high A tier.
High A tier. It's just A.
So, what's the justification?
Well, the arches, while they were nice, I didn't see any interesting plants. I didn't see any interesting animals. The arches were cool. We didn't see, the stars weren't that great when we went to at night.
That's another thing I was going to mention. We went at night, and I thought it was nice. It's apparently one of the best places to see stars
Apparently.
in America.
You know, maybe that's on us. So maybe we didn't have the right equipment to like capture night sky.
Well, we had no equipment.
Yeah, to me, just looking up there, it just looked black. I didn't, you know.
Yeah, the downside was it wasn't a good month for like you couldn't see the Milky Way or anything.
For stargazing.
Is that the park that we drove back into that night?
Yeah.
That was okay. I couldn't remember.
I think that was the one.
It was definitely the Arches Moab area.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, that's the park.
Well, Andy, you're alone because it was dope AF.
That's fine.
I would definitely go back.
I mean, I go back too, but
more.
I feel
It's
like
on the list, like,
A
it's
is still
definitely
good,
top
guys.
5, top 10 places I would go back to.
Is this Electric North channel content?
Yes.
Yes.
Yo, Arches is only A tier?
For me,
What's
yeah.
Andy thinking? What is Andy thinking?
Arches is A tier.
Joshua
I
Tree,
kinda-
we also went to at night, by the way.
I kind of get Arches only being A tier, actually, because of the crowd that one time we went.
Yeah, crowds are thing.
And
For
it's
sure.
like sun exposed. But like, if Arches is A tier, what's S tier, you know?
Channel Islands.
Yeah, no, I can
I was
definitely
there.
see some stuff that's of Arches, but not
I
many.
didn't go to. I haven't been to Arches. It's
Oh,
one
we
of
gotta
those
go to
things-
Arches.
Yeah, we gotta go to. We can see which ones that we missed that we need to go to from this content.
Mm-hmm.
After monkey virus runs through America, we're going to Arches.
All right,
Let's
has
move
everybody
on.
said their piece on Arches? Yep. Badlands.
So we're moving on to Badlands.
Did anybody else have any Arches comments?
Is the
All right.
Arches score also considering the side arches we checked out?
What are the side arches?
Yeah, the
not just the
area,
delicate
and we
arch.
watched the sunset through that little
Yes,
like gap, right?
anything in the park counts.
Yeah, it's definitely S tier.
Was the trip
I-
that we
I
went
forgot
on
about that
where we
night.
did that like outside the park hike, or is that a trip I took with someone else?
We
Mm,
did the in-park hike. I'm not sure.
Okay.
all
All
right.
right, Badlands, Arthur.
Okay, Badlands. Badlands was actually I think Badlands was 2018 September.
You and the dates.
I, we went to Badlands. It was a quick stop, right? It was extremely hot.
Mm.
Actually, I got
What-
dehydrated that day. It was that hot.
Was it
Wow.
next to Arches? Was this all in the same area?
No, Badlands is South Dakota, I believe. We
Oh,
after
maybe I'm-
after Badlands, we went to Devil's Tower. Is that what the one? Yeah,
Oh, really? That was Badlands?
yeah.
Hmm. You know, Badlands isn't ringing any bells for me. If this isn't the one with Badwater Basin in it, then I'm thinking of something else.
Okay, Badlands, South Dakota. We went from Wind Cave. We drove to Badlands, from Wind Cave to Badlands. Badlands was, well, they were Badlands, and it was extremely hot. We didn't really do a real hike. There were some
No,
little
just
hike-
that lookout, right? We did the lookout.
We pretty much did the lookout. We drove through the whole park. We visited the visitor center. We did one of those trails where you could see like dinosaur fossils.
And it was a scam?
It was a scam, yes. It was pretty scammy, that little walk. And it was so hot that I really didn't want to do anything other than just stop at the lookouts.
You know what it looked like, Andy? Where were we just at?
So it looks a lot
Petrified
like
Forest?
Petrified
You know the
Forest,
blue,
yeah.
Yeah.
the blue area, the blue mesa area, or whatever that place was called that we walked around in? That was like what the Badlands looked
Hmm. Okay, I think I kind of remember this now, and there was like one specific rock that we looked at, and it was just like a pile of sand with some colorful sand in it. Does that sound right?
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah. I'd say put that into C tier for me.
Um,
Oh, right.
okay. Yeah, put it in C tier for him. I'm thinking, yeah, honestly, you see, I'm worried about putting things too high because then everything will be C tier for me, and I'm probably not gonna have anything in F tier.
Hmm.
That would be the problem. If I had a chart, everything would be like A or S because I'm all about it.
Because everything's great. I
Yeah,
love it.
Badlands was pretty forgettable for me. Honestly, I don't even remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it. Yeah, if you can't remember the park, it Come on, Andrew.
What, you'd want to put it in F?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
I'm
putting
afraid
mine in
that
F.
Andrew's not gonna remember half parks. he never knows where exactly we
I'm
are.
putting mine in F. It was...
You're putting it in F?
Yeah, I'm putting it in F. It was too hot. It was really hot. There were no real good hikes there in general, so there wasn't much to do. It looked nice, but we pretty much drove through it, and yeah, that was the Badlands experience.
All right, well, you know what? I'm going to be different, and I'm going to rate it in the B tier. Only because at the time, I had never seen anything like for that reason. It was, so I shared it.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I must add that, F doesn't mean don't go there for me. It just means I definitely wouldn't go back again. Unless I was in the area, I wouldn't go back. And if I was suggesting it to someone, it would be one of the last parks I would suggest.
All right, so Big Bend. Has anyone been to Big Bend?
And don't think any of us have been to Big Bend.
That's the one in Texas.
All right.
Where's Biscayne?
So I will rate Biscayne because I have been to Biscayne.
Oh, it's the Miami one.
Yes, Biscayne is south of Miami. This is like a complete marine park only, pretty much. There's nothing to do unless you go on a boat.
Mm-hmm. Did you go on a boat?
I did go on a boat, and it was great. So I went snorkeling. You got like a reef area where you can snorkel. It was pretty cheap too. It was like $80 for snorkeling.
I don't know if I'd say that's cheap, but okay.
Okay. I think that's cheap.
You can go to Walmart and buy some mask and a snorkel for like $15.
Can you snorkel for $15 in a reef?
Well, if the $80 includes the boat ride and
Yes,
like just the
it
okay, all right.
And they teach you how to snorkel if you don't know how, and they take you to the good places. They take you to the mangroves, which is like little trees growing in the water.
Yeah.
I saw some snakes in the water. I saw some parrotfish. Yeah, there was a lot. Actually, there was so much fish. There was just like fish everywhere. Like you could grab them with your hands. So it was popping, and I would suggest going to this park.
All right, and your rating?
And my rating
sounds like you'd be willing to go back.
I would go back.
Yes.
But okay, my rating is going to be B.
B?
After
all
Everything
that
about this beautiful experience, I found my soul there. B.
Well, okay, so again, even the F, I would go go to F. I'm telling you, go to all these parks. So, I just need some separation here.
Okay. What are
That's
the rules about going backwards and?
You can. I think you can change whatever you want.
Okay, yeah. I'm lowering it.
When you look at my list, I'm gonna get specific and say that like left is the best of that tier, and further to the right is worse within the tier.
Please.
Oh, so you're rating like number 1 to 50?
Yeah.
We need half letters.
All right. Black Canyon in the Gunnison. Andrew, do you remember it?
That's an F.
Do you remember we drove down into it?
Yeah, we drove down into it. Your brakes were like getting destroyed. Then we drove up. The engine was getting destroyed. And
Mosquitoes.
ultimately, just a bunch of bugs in a power station and that you can go close to.
The rocks were pretty cool. Good rocks. I'm a fan of those rocks.
Yeah, we were looking at rocks like that the whole ride.
It's from the top word. Although, definitely not high.
So Andrew, you rated F as well?
Yeah, F.
Andy's going F. Now that we've established we can rearrange, I'm gonna go C for now. But I would
Okay,
consider
I am
dropping.
also going to go F for Black Canyon.
Ooh.
So Black Canyon, we went there right after Arches. There was really nothing to do. There was one hike that seemed too long that actually allows you to go down the canyon, which might have been cool.
Yeah,
The
that
rocks
might
were
have
like
been-
black, right? It was like black rocks,
Yeah,
which was
it was,
unique. It was definitely different looking, but God, there was nothing to do. There was a lot of people fishing. There was a lot of people fishing. As you can see, there's a little picture of a fish. So maybe if you're into fishing, but
Isn't that when it was like freezing and we sat around on some rocks looking over the cliff on precarious perches?
I think it was. I don't think it was that cold, but maybe
There
I'm
was a
wrong.
picnic bench, right? Is that what you're talking about? At the very last Vista stop, there was like 14 viewpoints on the road. And we like drove to the end of it and drove back.
Yeah, we stopped at like one of the last Vista points on the upper level.
Yeah, and then we thought, hey, let's go down.
Going down that hill was memorable because that was some
Felt like
serious
the car
incline.
was gonna get destroyed. Yeah.
That was a rental car, right?
That was like 20%.
Yeah, it was definitely a rental.
That was like 20% of the lifetime of that car's brakes.
Yeah.
I mean, the incline must have been 20%.
All right.
That's
Bryce Canyon?
Bryce Canyon. I guess I'll go. I don't really have much to say except it was really cool. I don't know if it was A tier though. I think I liked Arches better. Although I'm putting it worth the try.
Yeah. I would put Bryce Canyon in B tier. And I kind of feel bad about Bryce Canyon. I feel like we just did a hike before going to Bryce Canyon, and when we got to Bryce Canyon, it was just like a pretty steep hill downwards into it, and I didn't want to go down there just to go back up. So I kind of just hung out at the top of the canyon and was like, yeah, look, it looks cool, but I didn't actually do any of the stuff at the canyon. But it looked cool.
There was like a little bit of snow down in the canyon too, if I remember, which was kind of wild.
It was.
Yeah.
Coming from Arches.
That was before Arches, yeah. It was really cold. It was so windy, I remember, and we were like wearing winter clothes pretty much. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
The hikes are also like half closed seasonally still.
Well, the one hike we did, which was like going down all the way into the canyon, that was really cool. And you had the little pinnacles all around you as you were going down. And honestly, I'm going to rate it A because I would go back there and I would do that whole hike. It looked really nice.
Damn.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And even the cold wasn't that bad. It was interesting.
Yeah. Honestly, my B is mostly because I was lazy that day and didn't go into it that far.
Yeah, we started going down, and then some people were too tired, or I don't know what was happening, so we didn't go all the way. But we went down deep enough to see some pretty dope stuff. So definitely interesting to me.
All right, cool. Canyonlands.
Canyonland.
Canyonlands. So Canyonlands, we went right before Arches because they're right next to each other. We didn't do any hike there, if I remember correctly. We drove to the end, and there was a giant lookout into the Canyonlands. Kind of looks like Mars.
Yeah, and it was like a mini Grand Canyon. Like it wasn't as deep.
Yeah, that is what you called it, a mini Grand Canyon.
Okay, yeah. And they filmed the Thelma and Louise scene there, right? Wasn't there like a sign or something?
Oh,
You could see it off in the distance. Or maybe we were looking at the map and there's like a Google point for it or something. I don't know. It also had that thing that you look through, like that mini arch that was on the cliff of something, and you could look through it and see all out in the distance. You remember that?
Yes, there was an arch on the side, the bridge.
Like a not tall arch.
I don't remember the
short
name.
and the thing.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd put Canyonlands to the right of Badlands in B tier for me. Well, like,
C tier or Bryce Canyon and B tier?
yeah, B tier.
B tier.
Yeah. I mean, it looked nice, but it felt like it was just vista points. I don't know if there was like better hikes that we could have done, or like we saw people riding bikes in the canyon, and that looked like that would have been fun, but
Oh, remember that? Yeah.
yeah, there's just no way for our group to all have bikes and go on a bike ride kind of thing. I
It's
guess
always
unless we
cooler
all,
stuff.
yeah, I don't know. But
It's
yeah,
definitely a mountain biking location.
All right.
I
I'm gonna
will go.
B tier.
Oh, B tier, interesting. I will go C tier, I think, for me. We just went to 2 vista points pretty much. The lookout, which was okay, but nothing cool. And the bridge, which was okay. The bridge arch, which was also okay, but then we went to arches afterwards, which just makes it redundant. So maybe if you have a bike and you can bike around in the Canyonlands, it'd be cool. But if you're just going there for hiking, definitely wouldn't go back.
yeah.
It might even be an F for me. Honestly, it's on the border there. But I gotta put something in C. I don't have anything in C yet, so we'll throw it in C for now.
All right. Capitol Reef.
Oh boy. That's where you split off. That was like the first time you'd ever split off.
And honestly, that was a great hike. Just going on my own there. Pretty
Yeah,
much
you went
going
and
on
saw
my own
that other
pace.
thing?
Saw like a big stone arch thing. That was cool. Yeah, that could honestly be an A, but to the right of arches. This is yeah. I liked Capitol Reef.
I don't even remember. We didn't get to the end of our hike, did we?
We did. So we
We
hiked
did.
up the side and to the top, and it was just an overlook. You could see the town we stayed in. It was kind of windy that day, but it wasn't too cold. It was an okay hike, but the lookout for me was nothing. It was it was kind of just a desert, and you could see the town you stay in.
That was the place with like really big rocks and stuff, right? Heading
Big
out of the
flat
ground.
rocks on angles, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was kind of
I
cool.
love that. It's good hike.
Don't-
Agreed that the lookout kind of sucked though.
Yeah, I don't even remember the lookout. I thought we like turned around too far. So.
We thought about turning around a couple times because we were like, "Is Andy dead?"
All right, Capitol Reef. I'm gonna go. Don't go out of your way.
I think I will also rate Capitol Reef for me a C. It's in the middle of nowhere. I think it's actually better than Canyonlands, but middle of nowhere. At least there was a hike. Unlike Canyonlands, there was a hike, so it's better than Canyonlands for me. But yeah, nothing crazy.
I'm gonna rate it above that. All right, Carlsbad Cavern. I don't remember which cavern that was. Is that the one we just did?
Yeah, that's the most recent.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Carlsbad Caverns, New Mexico.
That was the top cavern.
I want to say Carlsbad Caverns. This is gonna be my first S tier ranking.
Oh my God.
It seems like there's only 3 cave national parks, and I gotta say this is the best one of them. So it gotta be S tier for best cave national park.
Wow. You know what is funny? I'm thinking about it. It was cool. And that really long thing that would get down to it, that was cool. I'm putting it
The
in
natural
top tier for now
entrance.
as well.
Very
Yeah, the
good.
natural entrance. That was cool.
And
Glad we missed the bats, but what can you...
honestly, one of the other things that makes this S tier is the elevator out of the cave. You do not have to climb up 60 set of stairs to get
So
back out.
Wind Cave also had an elevator.
Did it?
Yes.
Well, it wasn't as
Remember
memorable.
we went through an airlock.
Mm.
You kind of remember.
Well, Carlsbad Cavern was also like way huger and had a giant room in the bottom.
Yeah, the hugeness is really what blew me away.
And also, you know, for the general public, like that's like wheelchair accessible cave right there. So it's just like anyone could go to that one. Yeah. And like the actual path in the side of the cave was very smooth and like easy to walk on.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, Carlsbad Cavern, I will go A tier.
All right.
Even better than Bryce Canyon.
So like,
yeah, to the left.
dude.
The only reason I wouldn't put it as S tier because other than to see the bats, which we didn't get to see sadly, I feel like there's no point in ever going back. So it's dope once you go in there, but I think once you've been there once, you would never need to go back again. The only reason I would ever go back is to see the bats.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's why it loses a little bit of points for me. But otherwise, totally dope cave.
Aren't there some guided tours that like go into different parts of the cave that you normally wouldn't get to go into?
Oh, maybe.
But then you're on a guided tour.
Yeah, I mean, would I go back and do a guided tour? Probably not. If I needed to go back and do a guided tour of a cave, that would be Wind Cave. Spoiler. So, yeah, Carlsbad A.
All right, nice.
All right, Channel Islands. S across the board or what?
The easy top
I'm doing
list
it
for me.
I'm doing it, and I might even. Oh God. I guess I'll put it at the top.
Yeah, easy top.
Yeah, no. So the boat ride was cool because we got to see dolphins.
Mm-hmm. And whales.
Whales, yeah.
Okay. But other than that, boat rides aren't that fun for me.
No, and
you're kind of just sitting there and doing nothing.
That is fair. It does.
Also, it was a small boat, which kind of sucked to me. But so the only reason I don't give it S tier is because honestly, the island itself wasn't the coolest thing ever.
I thought the island itself was one of the coolest things ever. Very hilly, lots of cliffs.
First hike we did where it looked like we were like fucking.
There was that one view. There was that one view of Potato Harbor, which was 10 out of 10. And I wish I could go down into Potato Harbor, but I was just over it. Yeah. Also the hantavirus, man.
Plus all that stuff that we
hantavirus?
I'm just kidding about the hantavirus.
Oh, just because of the fucking guy giving a tour to warn people about it.
There was signs everywhere saying that the rats have hantavirus, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But that's a joke. I don't care about hantavirus. But no, I thought the island wasn't the coolest thing ever. We hiked up to the top of the island and it was just kind of nothing to see there. So the Potato Harbor was the best part for me, followed by the dolphins. And I will put it at A tier. Probably worse than Carlsbad Caverns.
Better than Bryce Canyon?
Did you also see the island foxes?
I did see the island fox. He was sleeping in the little dried out riverbed.
Nice.
Beauty patooties.
Yeah. Rare.
Did you see all that busted farm equipment?
No.
Oh, okay.
I had to rate it A or S tier just because it was the first time I ever saw him.
One thing about it is that there's like 4 different islands and we only went to one of them and we didn't even go all the way to the end. So there's so much more. I would go back to this one, no problem. Unlike Carlsbad Caverns where I said I feel like there's almost no point in going back.
Yeah.
This one I would go back to.
Other
The only
islands.
reason I wouldn't want to go back is to do the boat ride again.
Yes.
I also don't love boat rides that are long.
Hmm.
Especially when you can't go to your car.
All right, Tyler. I think we're ready for you to pop off about
All right,
Congaree.
fucking Congaree. Even if everything else is closed, don't fucking go there. Well, you know what? So here's the thing. This is 100% my personal opinion because I actually, if I was being objective, I would say that the park was really cool. You know, like the boardwalk's cool. There's a lot of different like kinds of nature, and we saw the turtles. But the fucking spiders were huge, and they were everywhere. Even small spiders all along the boardwalk, like they were all along the handrails. There were just spiders everywhere. And then never before had we been to a park where they had called the emergency services people in because somebody got bit by a snake. Right? Did he get bit by a snake? Is that what happened? Do I remember it wrong?
That's true.
Yeah. She was bit by a water moccasin, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, forget it. Forget it. Unless you like spiders and snakes, then...
But I never got to go to this one. We gotta go back.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'd put that in high C tier for me. You know, it was memorable partially because someone got bit by a snake and there was emergency people everywhere. The spiders, they're a little bit spooky, but, you know, there's enough people walking around that they're not, like, going to touch your face unless you're, like, freakishly tall for some reason. And, yeah, I guess one of the only things that was bad about it is, like, the boardwalk was just over land when we visited. Like, maybe it floods out sometimes, but it was just kind of above the ground. Which, I don't know, maybe that was also nice because it was pretty low chance to get bit by a snake on that boardwalk. But I guess it happened to somebody. I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, I will put it in C tier. Mainly because it's unique. I think it's almost like a rainforest type of situation, right? The bugs is nightmare fuel for me. Like doing any hike outside of the boardwalk would have been a no-go for me. I know that they were advertising a lot about their kayaking. I feel like if I was kayaking there, I would die because a spider would like touch me somehow and I would flip over and drown to death.
All right.
So I would never go back to this park. No, oh my God. The spiders were just nightmare fuel. I am out. Okay. That's
You know, the orb weaver spider, that was a pretty cool spider.
Okay, we left the car, and before I even got to the visitor center from the parking lot, I saw a spider that's the size of my fist.
Oh yeah, above us.
I was,
right at the entrance.
it was above us. It could have dropped on my face at any moment.
Honestly, I don't remember
so
any
out.
spiders that were like bigger than, I don't know, the like fleshy part of my thumb. You know what I mean? Like half the size of your palm.
Its body is not that big, but it has such long legs. Like it stretches out so far.
Yeah, I think you guys are exaggerating how it was when you're...
Did you get a picture of it? Like people were taking pictures of it. That's how we noticed it for the first time.
Yeah, but there's no like sense of scale in the pictures. Like no one put their hand next to it.
It was like 3 feet above me, and it was huge. I'm out totally. But for the uniqueness, I'll put it into C tier.
That's fair.
So
Crater Lake, second national park that I ever visited, I think. Right?
That was the second national park we visited on all of our road trips.
And I loved
Yosemite.
it. I loved Crater Lake. I love everything about it. I love that hike that we didn't complete, but it was still cool. Crater Lake was really neat. I would go back there again, and I've actually been there twice. I stopped when I was staying, or when I visited Max, and then drove to what's his name in California?
Alexander.
Alex, yeah. When I left Seattle and headed down, I went to Crater Lake a second time, but it was the forest fires or whatever was going on whenever this was, and it was all smoke. You could barely even see like the island in the middle of the lake because it was just smoke everywhere, and it was kind of neat to see it like that, especially since I'd already seen it, so I wasn't like missing out. But I'd go back there again. I loved Crater Lake. Can you go down into it and like?
You can go
Like a
down into
boat?
it, yes. On the other end, there is a path going down.
I would totally go back. Great park.
Alright, so this one kind of seems like I've forgotten a lot about Crater Lake, unless this is like on that first road trip that it was just us three.
That is
That
the
is
one, yes.
Okay, then
It's the one that has a little, it's a volcano, right? And has a little island in the middle.
yeah,
It's got
okay.
a lake with like the island.
I guess I remember that. I remember seeing a mole on the side of the trail that was like digging. That was cool. And I don't know. It's kind of just a big lake.
So what do you rate it as?
This one's kind of hard. Let's put that high B tier.
Wow.
Like
Wow,
number
wow.
one?
Yeah. Cause like I would go back, and there was a glacier apparently that we could have hiked to, but it was like really far away.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
Wasn't there? Was
No.
it? Oh, okay. I don't know. I just
Sounds
remember
like you're thinking of Revelstoke.
Tyler wanting to like keep going on the hike somewhere far away, and then there was snow over there.
So you guys did the rim hike and you were going up along the rim to the top of a lookout, but you didn't make it all the way because it was kind of getting late, so you had to turn
Yeah.
back before you made it to the
Yeah,
end.
that all sounds
And
right.
I stayed behind because I'm scared of heights, so I just chilled at the bottom.
I feel like you
Yeah,
could do
that's
it this
steep
time
along that
if you wanted
edge.
to go back.
I feel like
Yeah,
I
you've done
maybe
scarier things.
So for me, S tier for sure. One of my
S-tier.
top. It's one of my top 5 parks.
S?
It's one of the first. Yes.
Alright.
Do you want me to? One of my first parks. It was beautiful. I loved the lake. I loved the lookout we did after we did the little. We drove around the side. You could see the moon. It was dope. It was dark. I loved the visitor center. Was really cool. It was like a chalet, and
Yeah.
I like that in winter they get like 16 feet of snow, and there were like little pictures of people just like standing in a giant snow tunnel. So I would go anytime. I definitely want to go back there. It was amazing. S tier.
Can I
Hey,
ask, sorry if you already said this earlier, is this a rating of the parks, or is it a rating of your experience at that park?
I mean, kind of both.
Like at the time
Yeah.
we went, you know?
I mean, how else can you rate it?
I
It's
guess
our
that,
personal
yeah, I guess
opinion
maybe
of
that's a good question. because
Yeah,
how else could you
it is
tell?
100% personal opinion. Like, I rated
Sure.
Congaree terribly, but that's only because, like, I hate spiders. Other people might love that part.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely get the subjective, but I guess I'm wondering if this is like, is it a rating of the day that you went and the experience you had on that day, or is it like next time you go kind of a thing, you know?
I would like to think that everybody would have kind of the same experience.
Yeah.
Like, most of these are just liking the view. You know what I mean? Other than,
Yeah.
like, Arthur who went frickin' snorkeling on, like, a reef in Florida. Like, that's definitely
Yeah, I thought the view
kind
was
of
B.
more specific. But usually I'm just rating on Vista. Even on hikes, we only hike to get to like a good vista point, and then we turn around.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's how much did I enjoy the day? How much would I want to go back? How much would I recommend someone else go there? It's all of those things together.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
All right. Cuyahoga.
Cuyahoga, Ohio.
Is that the one? Okay, I thought that was the
So
one.
this is like outside of Cleveland. My goodness. This is like a
This is
park.
basically still Ontario.
This is basically still Ontario. There's nothing of interest here. It's any provincial park, any state park you've ever been to, rebranded as a national park in my eyes. Nothing cool. We saw that cat, that wild cat. That wasn't wild.
The hotel cat.
The hotel cat, yes. A cat that was owned by the hotel. That was the most memorable thing to me. I would never go back here. I wouldn't even recommend anyone go there other than to hit their list. F tier solid.
F tier solid. Wow, yeah. I mean, that was pretty brutal. Reading about Cuyahoga afterwards, it did seem like they made it a national park to protect the wildlife and keep it as like a forested area because it is so close to the city that it's like, you know, the national parks are on a different level of protection, right? So it seems like that's the thing. We'll hit that with Indiana Dunes as well. And something that I didn't even know about Cuyahoga Valley when we were there is the train. Apparently the train is what it's like a crazy thing about Cuyahoga Valley. Going on a train ride. I don't know.
We did see a train, but I think it was just parked. So I don't know if... Can you actually go on the train ride?
I believe so.
I mean, even with that, I would not go back.
I remember this one. I remember that cat. And it was like so similar to Ontario. I still really enjoyed it. I feel like if you're from somewhere that's not like Ontario, it might be really nice. We're so used to this.
That is what I was gonna ask. It's like freaking how many kilometers from like the Ontario?
Yeah, maybe if you grew up in New Mexico, you'd be like, "Whoa, this is fucking crazy."
But it's not only that it looks like Ontario. It's just like there's cooler Ontario provincial parks.
Yeah.
Like Bon Echo is 10 times better than Cuyahoga Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You honestly covered everything that I would have said.
I'd put that in high F tier.
High F tier? You're putting it above Black Canyon?
Yeah. At least we went on a hike and there was a neat little ravine thing that we were in and skip stones.
Actually, you know what? I would fucking rather go back to Congaree than Cuyahoga. And that is saying something.
Yeah.
That is saying a lot.
Was Cuyahoga the one where it got really foggy and we were hiking along like or was that elsewhere on that same trip?
Same trip, but farther south.
Right.
The name is escaping me right now, but it's
Shenandoah.
Yeah, Shenandoah.
Oh, was that Shenandoah?
You guys hear those fireworks?
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's Victoria Day, so there's going to be fireworks sometimes, guys. Sorry, podcast listeners.
Probably, but
I assume everyone who's listening to the podcast is already here.
Yeah, a little bit. It was like half our audience was in the Discord.
This is a podcast, man.
So
having that first-person
right
podcast
now?
experience.
That's all right.
Live.
okay, Cuyahoga, worst part,
Death
2 out of 3.
Valley.
I mean, it's close
Okay,
to the worst.
let me intro Death Valley to you. Death Valley,
All right.
we went us 3 plus Alexander and Adam. This was bordering Nevada and California. This was after we went to Beatty. Death Valley, you had the Salt Lake. Remember the Salt Lake?
Yeah.
You had little dunes. You had the Hell's Furnace. It was like, I think it was called the Visitor Center. There was also this, oh man, this was like the name of a Pink Floyd album, wasn't it? What was the name of that place?
Dark Side of the Moon?
No, there was... I'll get back to that later. But there's a Pink Floyd album that in the cover picture and the name is the same place as Death Valley. So Death Valley, for me, I'm just going to rate it S tier. Okay.
Ooh.
Why did I love Death Valley? There was like, we went to 4 different places that were all unique. The dunes, you had the dunes, you had the salt basin. The salt basin was honestly one of the coolest things ever. And it's like 40 feet below seawater. And we just walked out there and it was so super cool. And I would recommend anyone go to that salt basin again. The dunes were also cool.
It is cool that they just let you walk out into it.
Yeah, and yeah, Death Valley, I would go back anytime and check out the other places, except we went in April? And it was above 30 degrees already. So this is the hottest place, I think, in the world. It's one of the hottest places in the world, period. Hence the name. And so I don't know if I would want to go back there in summer.
Fair enough. This one's hard for me because it was pretty cool. But at the same time, I feel like I liked Arches more.
All right, so it's A tier you're thinking.
Yeah, I'd put it next to Arches.
It's also really tough for me. I was between the top 2 tiers. I put a lot of stuff in the top tier, so I was thinking about maybe putting it in the B tier. And you know what? As I say it out loud, but maybe above Bryce Canyon. Although Bryce Canyon was really cool, so I don't know. That's where it's going to stay for now. Worth the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. That's definitely one of the most memorable parks for me. And the place, the other place was called Zabriskie Point, which was like a Pink Floyd song, and it looked cool.
It was cool. Yeah, we needed more tiers. So is it going to be number 3, or are you putting it like above Arches or Crater Lake?
Okay, if I were to re-rate the top, I would put Crater Lake first, and honestly, I would put Death Valley second and Arches third.
Yeah. And
I think
also
I'll go with that, yeah. It's my top 5 park, I'd say that as well.
I don't know if it's going to stay number 1, but I would put Crater Lake probably over. All right. Sadly, we haven't been to Denali, but I'm sure that will be S tier probably. Oh, but you've been to the Dry Tortugas, haven't you?
I've been to the Dry Tortugas. So Dry Tortugas is an island, just like Channel Islands, southern Florida Keys, right? Took a boat there, which was like 2 hours. Worst part of the trip, because this was like Corona times, right? So I needed to take a test to get back to the country. And there was a guy on the boat, and he was just coughing his lungs out the whole time. So we actually sat on the deck of the boat for 2.5 hours in the wind to avoid this guy. So that was the worst part of the park. The park itself, for me, S tier. Okay, it's a tiny island. It's very tropical, like pure tropical. We did snorkeling there, and there's an old fort. It's like an abandoned fort that was never really finished construction. With the fort is not really that cool, but the snorkeling was even better than Biscayne, okay? Because this was even more tropical. It also had its own reef. So the snorkeling was, so you get what you get in Biscayne, but you also get a tropical island. And yeah, it was like an island that you see in when you go to the Bahamas or something. That's what it is. So just for the island, I give it S tier. The snorkeling, S tier. The boat ride sucked, but you can take a plane there. And if I were to go back, I would take the plane. I would pay the $600 or whatever it is. Totally worth it for me. And I would go again.
All right, so we're flying the next time. I have a feeling it'll be S tier, but obviously Andy and I will not.
God damn, $600? Frig, yo.
Okay, Andy's going to take the boat.
Oh yeah, that does sound cool.
Well, We also, the two of us have not been to the Everglades, but I think you have.
Yes. So I went to Everglades. So Everglades is huge, huge. And so I went only to the part with the crocodiles, or the most popular place for crocodiles. Sorry, not crocodiles, alligators, right? So I went there, did a little tram ride through it, okay? And there's just, it's kind of like grasslands, but wet. So like a marsh, I guess. And you just ride along, you take a tram ride through it. There's alligators all along the road. You stop at a point, and the point has a tower lookout. And the tower lookout looks exactly like Smoky Mountains Tower, if you remember that tower.
Mhm.
And it was actually designed by the same person. So if you've been to Smoky Mountains and that lookout tower, kind of like that in the middle of a marsh, which isn't cool. But when I saw it, I was like, I think I've been to this tower before, and it is made by the same person. So alligators, they just chill on the road, and it's not cool, but they look cool. Man, okay, Everglades. Man, where do you put Everglades? So for my experience, I would probably put it at C. But it's a huge park with multiple different entrances, multiple different visitor centers. There's a mangrove area, and apparently you can even see manatees there, okay?
Ooh.
And so if I were to go back, I would go to the other part and forget the alligators because they're kind of lazy. And you see one, and that's pretty much it. So it's worse than Biscayne. Is it better than Capitol Reef? Yes. Is it B or C? Well, putting in C. Okay, there we go.
Wow.
B2.
The elusive B tier.
I put Congaree in C. Okay, forget it. Let's move Everglades to B. Okay. God, Congaree's in C, man.
Let's move Everglades to B.
Yeah, I would go back and try out the other part. It's huge, so for that reason, it's definitely worth going back, I think. But yeah, nothing special.
That's in Florida.
All
right. East to the Arctic. Haven't been, but probably S tier. Gateway Arch. Haven't been, but probably F tier. Glacier Bay. Have we been to Glacier Bay? No.
No,
That's
those
Alaska.
are all Alaska. Yeah.
Yeah, Alaska. But Glacier National Park we have been to, right?
Yes, we have. Montana.
All right. I'm rating it first, and it's going to be number 2. We didn't spend much time. Everything was closed, but it's like, it's one of my top 3 probably destinations of where I would go back to or want to go back to, mostly because we didn't do much, but what we did do, I loved and it looked awesome, and I want to go back to Alberta.
Yeah. So when we went, it was extremely smoky from the wildfires, right? And we weren't actually able to do the highway through the park, so we had to go around the park and then go back into it from the other end. So both of those points looked amazing, 10 out of 10 views. For that reason, I think I'll put it in S tier. But we missed so much. Looked amazing. Would want to go back and do the actual highway because it would probably be even more amazing.
Yeah, I think I rewatched the Glacier Quest video, and I don't think I was like overwhelmed, or like maybe I was just kind of like, whatever. We've been to parks like this, and we've seen lots of mountains. So I guess I was underwhelmed by the view. But looking back at the video, I'm like, damn, that actually was like something else. I think I kind of got distracted by like a marmot or something that was near a boardwalk. I was just looking at this little rodent instead of the mountains and stuff nearby. But yeah, we only did like, it felt like half a kilometer of the boardwalk hike or whatever. And yeah, I would go back. Again, this is kind of hard to rate because it did seem really nice, but like, I don't know. I guess I would put it below Arches in A.
In A tier. All right.
Yeah, I bet if I went back, I'd probably change my mind and probably put it in S just from like looking at my videos of how cool it was. But like, that just seems right to me right now.
All right, that's fair. Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon was cool. It's kind of just a big hole in the ground though. We watched the sunset.
We gotta go back and go into it.
I mean, hiking down it would probably be amazing.
Yeah.
We gotta go camp in the Grand Canyon, you guys.
I remember we talked to a guy who was like, yeah, I come to the Grand Canyon all the time. And he would go into it. And it's like a 2-week thing to hike down and do a little camp and then hike back up. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you rating it as?
What are you thinking?
Well, for our visit, we went to the visitor center. We walked along a trail for a bit. It had some like weird timeline trail thing going on. And we watched the sunset, right? It was nice. We went into it like a little bit, like, there's a trail level, and then we hopped down into it just like one later. So we would be like a little bit away from all the crowds. I'm gonna put it to the right of Death Valley.
The right of Death Valley. Oh man, I thought it was going to be lower. I was hovering around B and C.
No, it was good. But it's like one of those parks that's like, it's impossible to do it justice with just a day visit, you know? And like seeing the sunset was like nice, but there was kind of like a moment where it's like you get to the edge of the Grand Canyon, and if you're like right on the edge, your entire view is taken up by the canyon. It's just so huge. Your brain is kind of like, I've never looked at everything so far away all at once. It's just like kind of crazy how it's like is.
Yeah, I was thinking for a long time about putting it in an S tier, but I think I'm going to put it at the very beginning of A tier. I was honestly just blown away by how big it really is. You see pictures of it, and everyone's like, "Ah, it's so big." But then I was honestly, even knowing all that, when we got there and like stood and looked at it, I was blown away. Kind of crazy. So I wanted to put it here. I thought about putting it at the end of Dope AF, but for now, I'm gonna put it number 1 on Worth the.
Also, we got irradiated going to the Grand Canyon.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, there's that news story about a kid who brought a Geiger counter to the Grand Canyon and then discovered a bunch of fucking toxic waste near the visitor center. So
it was uranium in one of the buckets inside of like an old mine, a reconstruction set in the visitor center, right?
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how the fuck did it get there? Did someone just drop it in the visitor center?
It was like a reconstruction of a mining scene
with real uranium.
They used to have, and they used real stuff from the mining scene, and in one of the buckets was real uranium.
Wow.
That they had really mined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it a significant amount? Like it was enough that it was like, how many years
that he found it? There's no threat to anyone from it. It's very mild.
But still.
A measurable amount.
A measurable amount.
Oh, Arthur, Grand Canyon rating.
So, okay, I'll put it to the front of B tier. Mainly because Lookout is dope. To do anything else in this park, it seems to me that you need a lot of time. Because other than Lookouts, you're going to have to somehow go down there and spend multiple days, if I understand correctly. So because of that, I honestly probably wouldn't go back to it because I just wouldn't have that such time. But the lookout is really nice. So yeah, in the middle for me.
All right. Grand Canyon. Pretty good. All right. Grand Tetons. Now, this is specific to our trip because if you don't go to Delta Lake, I don't know if you have the same experience. It's honestly dope AF tier for me, and I'm honestly just trying to decide like where in the top like row to put it. For right now, I'm maybe going to put it number 2. Only because we didn't really do a lot of glaciers, so like I only have a couple of views to base glacier on. We're Grand Teton, Delta Lake. One of the best hikes, if not the best hikes that we've ever done, in my mind. Because at least we got to the end of it.
Yeah.
New number 2, Grand Tetons.
Arthur, your thoughts?
So Grand Tetons, I believe, is the only sort of mountain range that has those jagged type of edges inside like outside of Alaska. So inside the U.S., ignoring Alaska. So it's the only place you'll see so those types of mountains. So because of that, those mountains are really dope. We did the hike. You can apparently hike really high up in there. So there's lots of hiking. The hike to Delta Lake, which was a lake in the mountains, super dope. Blue water, right? The aquamarine water, whatever it's called. Super dope. Yeah, this is going to go straight up to after Death Valley before Arches. I would go back there again. The hike was dope. I would do other hikes. I would do the same hike again. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
All right, nice. So for me, Grand Tetons. There's been a very few times that I felt like I was going to die from hiking. Getting pushed to the limit. Wondering, am I experiencing high altitude sickness? I don't know. Were we high enough for that? I definitely had a really hard time doing the Delta Lake hike.
Yeah, maybe.
But, for some reason, when you have a hard time and you complete your thing, it's a Dark Souls effect, and you're like, damn, all that hard work, it was worth it though to see that lake. Also, I might have saw a wolverine. Like, I remember being behind you guys and then seeing some weird animal like up ahead of me, and I was like, is that someone's dog? And I don't know. Once I got caught up with you guys at the lake, no one had a dog there. And in the visitor center, they had Wolverine, like a stuffed Wolverine creature thing that looked kind of like a dog, I guess.
Andrew, you were the straggling member of the pack about to be picked off.
By a Wolverine? Yeah. So yeah, Delta Lake, that was cool. And we also went canoeing the day after and hanging out in the ponds. Right, that was cool.
Yeah, the view from the canoe was really cool as well.
Great
the view, pretty much anywhere in the park you can see those mountains, and it's a dope view.
Driving up to the mountains was awesome. Getting a cool hyperlapse of that. Yeah, I'm going to put that into the number 2 slot of S tier.
Okay, I was going to say, did I get too excited there for a minute?
Because, the mountains were very nice. But, like, damn, you might die. And that makes it special.
Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is right next to the park, is also really nice. And
yeah, that's my favorite town that we've ever stopped in, I think.
Yeah, so like you can go to this park, chill out, stay in a good place, and yeah, I would go there again, no problem.
Nice.
All right, what's Great Basin?
So you have been to Great Basin, nobody else.
Oh, is that the one in like the middle of Nevada?
Yes. So tell us about it.
We've come to a park that I have been to. So honestly, I feel like it doesn't even count, although it counts. I didn't go inside. I was only outside. By the time I got there, it was closed, and I just like walked around the outside area.
Like you
Outside
didn't
the
go in
park?
the visitor center?
No, I went into the visitor center, but it's like a cave area, isn't it?
You tell us.
Well, that's what I mean. I didn't. It was locked. The cave area was locked up, and they were like done tours for the day, so I didn't get to go into it. And from the outside, it just looks like Nevada, you know?
Gross.
So it might have been cool if I could have got into it. It's almost like I shouldn't even be rating it, but I'm still going to.
Rated
honestly-
at half. It was close.
Oh, well, I'm not going to lie to you guys. A lot of the caves are going to be like, don't go out of your way, and if everything else is closed, because like, I don't love the caves the way that you guys love the caves. Carlsbad Cavern was the first cave that I went to where I was like, God damn, this is a cool fucking cave. There was, and I think a big part of that was that it wasn't fucking toured. You got to just explore it at your own pace.
Yeah.
And every other cave that we've gone to, including Great Basin, is you got to book a tour. I just don't like that about park.
That's because if you don't have cave guides, you just have people fucking disappear.
Oh, it makes total sense. I get it. I totally agree. Especially with some of those caves that we've done that have been like tight and like, not as open. But another reason I don't love caves, because I'm a tall person. I hate spaces. Phobic. Not that we've done anything that time. Yeah, good luck getting back to Great Basin.
Middle of nowhere,
It's
northern
fucking,
Nevada. I
that must
believe.
be, like, of the continental United States, that might be the most middle of nowhere park. Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Great
not
sand
worth
dunes.
it. Great Sand Dunes. Is that the one in Colorado?
That is the sand dunes in Colorado, yes.
All right. How do people feel about it?
How do I feel about? Okay, I'll start. I love sand dunes in general. Every sand dune I've been to has been a lot of fun for me. I just like how unique it is. So, Great Sand Dunes, honestly, it was one of my favorite parks. But the thing is, just going back there, kind of no point, right? So because of that, it's probably going to be at the end of the A tier. So if you've never been there, I would say definitely go there. I really enjoyed the windiness, the sand blowing in my face, crawling on my knees up a giant sand hill. And that was a lot of fun, and experience-wise, A tier.
Wow. You love
Okay, let me go. I totally agree with everything that you said, and I just want to add that I had a very Andrew experience here where like I didn't know what to expect, and like the sand blowing in my face, and because of the crawling on my hands and knees, I was like breathing really heavy, and I honestly thought like I was gonna like have to like stop or sit down or turn back. Because like I'm getting sand in my mouth. You can't even drink your water because you open the water bottle and like the rim that's wet just gets covered in the sand that's blowing. So it was like, I mean, obviously I didn't think I was going to die, but like it was one of the closer experiences that I've had to being like, fuck, this situation is fucked. But in a way, just as Andrew said, that's kind of the good thing about the park because it gives you this like crazy ass experience of like fucking being in the middle of the desert. And also that was like the first time that we had been to the desert. I guess we'd kind of been to Death Valley, but it's totally different than the sand dunes. So I am also going to rate it A tier, and I just don't know where. I guess I agree with even what Arthur said, like, why would you go back? You know? I would go back to the Grand Canyon, I would go back to Death Valley, I would go back to Bryce Canyon. So I'm also going to put it at the end.
Why would you
Sand
go
dunes
back?
are cool.
You would go back because we didn't try sand sledding at the Great Sand Dunes.
Sand sledding is a letdown for me. You
Also,
go really, really slow and you get really, really sand.
maybe not everyone felt like crawling up all the way to the top. So maybe some people, would like to see the top for themselves one day.
Oh, did you not make it?
No, God, every step you take, you one big step up, and then your foot sinks like 75% of the way back down. It is like, yeah,
it
that
was
sand
brutal.
dune is probably like what, 100 meters tall, 200 meters. You're climbing like 4 times that just because of how much height you lose every time you take a step and sink back in. So,
Totally.
yeah, it was nuts. And, yeah, just getting blasted in the face with sand constantly. Yeah, not the best experience, but a very memorable one. So I'm going to put it at the top of B tier.
The top of B tier. All right.
Yeah, and the other thing, running down those sand dunes, one of the most fun things ever.
Yeah. Alright.
That was more fun than sliding down for me. All right, Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
This one's kind of forgettable to me.
Yeah, is it like near Shenandoah? Where's the Great Smoky Mountains?
I think there was just like a nice lookout and it was foggy.
Is this the one where like we were going down for like ever and my car
Brakes were
started
burning,
to,
yes.
burning? Yeah, okay, I remember the Great Smoky Mountains.
So we had
That was actually the second time that I had been there.
Ooh.
I stopped there on the way to Florida with Basin once. Other people. I'll rate it. I honestly was not impressed. The view was cool. I'm gonna put it just above. You know what? I'll actually put it above Capitol Reef just because I kind of like Smoky Mountains. But I don't know. I wasn't super impressed.
That seems fair to me. I would put it in the same spot as on mine. Top of C.
Like top of C.
Yeah.
And I would also do the same. Some cool lookouts. Smoky Mountains is the one where we did the chimney top hike, I believe. So it was actually not a bad hike.
Okay, yeah, that was nice.
Then is that not where the other lookout was, or is that at a different?
There was also like roadside lookouts, right?
No, but is that the Everglades thing? The Everglades lookout?
Yeah.
Is that where the other one is?
No. So we actually did a hike that didn't include the lookout, but yes, there was also a little hike up a hill, and then there was the little tower. So that was fun. Honestly, I feel like that's better than Everglades. All right, move it up to B tier. Or
In
move
between.
Everglades down.
In between.
Okay, just leave it as this, yeah. Man, would I go back there? Probably not, unless I was in the area.
Did you just get shot? Those ones were really loud.
I know. All right, next on the list, Guadalupe. Just did it.
The only Texas park we have been to.
And does that mean there's only 2 Texas parks, or was Carlsbad in Texas?
No, it's just Guadalupe and Big Bend, right?
Oh, man, I'm surprised they don't have more parks. Texas is so big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw there's a post on Reddit showing you the locations of every national park, and half the comments are like, this is completely wrong. There's so many more parks than this. But they're all thinking of like state parks and stuff. And yeah, people were surprised about Texas. Apparently 95% of Texas is privately owned, so they can't make more national parks really. Because it's, I don't know. Texas is like that, I guess.
Gross.
Also, Texas just hates being part of a country.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not sure where to put it, so somebody else go for it.
Okay, I'll rate. Guadalupe better than Smoky Mountains, worse than Biscayne, so I think I have to put it in there.
All right.
The hike we did, so many flies, it was killing me. Just, I mean, it's just a bad experience. I can't blame the park, but so many flies. I think if we went up to the Guadalupe Peak, which we could have done, would have been worth it. So I would go back to Guadalupe and do that hike. Yeah, just middle tier park for me.
These fucking fireworks, man.
Oh, this is like fucking
This was a bad choice, maybe.
baby.
But
We
oh
can
well.
never win.
Yeah, Guadalupe. I'd put it below Great Smoky Mountains for myself. That might be an unfair place to put it because I had to shit a lot and couldn't do the hike because I just had to stay. You know what? Put it above Great Smoky Mountains because the washroom at the beginning of the hike was a full washroom, a full flush washroom, not just a hole in the ground. So that was nice. And yeah, it's just a lot of bugs around. That was pretty annoying for when I did go on a hike. And yeah, it's kind of not very memorable to me. Yeah, honestly, it just felt like New Mexico, but Texas was like, oh, we need some mountains.
So what you're saying is the Frito pie ruined Guadalupe for you.
Frito pie ruined Guadalupe, yeah.
I feel the same way, Andrew. I'm just putting it above Great Smoky Mountains a little bit because the hikes are cooler. But there's nothing to see. Like, even we got like halfway up, and it was like flat, you know, Texas just flat, surrounded by this one little thing that's not even, doesn't look like a mountain. I guess it's a mountain.
Yeah.
It's definitely high enough
Just
to be a
because there's
mountain,
a bunch of...
it's still
like...
better than Great Smoky Mountains.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I don't know what this one is. Hala or Kala?
That's one of the two Hawaii volcanoes.
Oh, that's probably S tier, but we've never
Probably.
been. Hot Springs? Hot Springs is
Springs,
probably F
Arkansas.
tier.
I heard Hot
I've heard
Springs is
that.
just a fake resort town that somehow conned their way into a national park.
Yeah.
So probably F tier.
Probably F tier. Hot Springs prediction. Indiana Dunes, Andrew. You're getting to the park, the only park that none of us have done except you.
As an Indiana Dunes expert, I would have to rate this park very highly. Well, no. It's basically their version of the Sandbanks. It's on Lake Michigan, I believe. It was nice, but it is kind of just like they made a deal where it's like there's a shipping center, industrial area near the water somewhere. So then they're like, we have to have a dedicated space for wildlife. So Indiana Dunes is that wildlife reserve, upgraded to national park status to continue the protection of all the bird species and stuff there. It's a free park. You know, we drove in, we did a quick hike, and we swam in the lake. It was very nice. So I would put that, you know, while it was a nice experience, just looking at this other stuff, I'd put it at low B tier.
After Canyonlands? Really?
Yeah. Not because it looked special, it's just a nice experience. And it's a free park, you know? I had a better time than the stuff in C tier, but since it didn't look nicer than the other stuff, it is low B tier.
That's fair. All right, Isle Royale. We haven't been. I'm gonna predict maybe A tier. That's the one that you gotta take the boat to. That's in the middle of the lake, right below Thunder Bay.
Yeah, Lake Superior or something.
Might be cool. Continent's Road Trip.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That one in Voyagers. Okay, Joshua Tree. We've been there a couple times. At least some of us have.
Yeah, Joshua Tree's nice.
I liked it. Yeah, I'm gonna rate it A tier. I don't know where on A tier. Maybe close to Death Valley area. You know what? Honestly, I think I liked it more. I'm just trying to... The coolest thing about Death Valley for me was definitely the salt flat. I'm trying to just think if the salt flats by themselves beat out. Joshua Tree was more fun the second time. That was when everybody was there, right? I don't know who was there the first time I went. The second time was when we did the Dead Horse Trail, right? And it got really dark when we were walking back.
Yeah.
and you could like see shadows because the moon was so bright.
Yeah. So the first
you
time
know
you
what?
went, the first
I'm
time you
putting
went,
it
it was
above Grand Canyon. What was the first time I went?
it was you, Andrew, and Adam, and you drove from LA to Las Vegas, right? And you drove
Oh, it
through
was
it.
before Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Remember that. Second time was much better. If I was basing my trip on that trip alone, it probably would have been like down here. Dead Horse State Park, and it was like dead. The trail was closed, so we like parked on the road and walked
An
up
extra
the thing,
like
'cause they were like
kilometer.
doing construction.
Yeah.
Like nobody there. There was nobody on the park. And I do enjoy nighttime in a good park, so top of A tier, no regrets. Well, one regret, we didn't climb over that fence at the end, you know? I
Yeah.
wanted to climb over that fence.
Well, if the mine
And I
like
didn't do
actually was a mine instead of just like some shit on a hill, then we would have climbed the fence. Yeah. Another hard one. I feel like I shouldn't put it above Great Sand Dune, but I guess I will put it above Great Sand Dune in A. But just to the very right of A.
Or B?
No, just to the right of A. Yeah.
Yeah, I will also put it all the way to the right of A. I like the rock formations, they're cool. I like the Joshua trees, they also look cool. Have to go back and try some outdoor rock climbing. Maybe.
All right. Katmai sounds like Alaska, right?
Yeah,
Bear
probably.
eating the fish. Kenji Fords, is that also Alaska?
Probably.
Kenai
Yeah.
Fords?
Like everyone that we haven't heard of with a regular name.
Maybe some of those elastic parks aren't S tier, but I bet a lot of them are.
Yeah.
All right, Kings Canyon. I don't fully remember it.
So Kings Canyon had a big problem, which was most of it was closed because we went middle of April and we couldn't actually do any hikes other than see Grand Sherman or General something something.
The
So-
big tree.
Yeah, Sequoia had a
Oh,
big
that was
tree and
Kings
Kings Canyon
Canyon?
had a big tree.
Okay, I remember.
They were pretty much the same park for us because they were both kind of
California.
closed and it was just big trees, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll rate it first. I would go back because again, we didn't actually experience the park correctly because we couldn't do any of the interesting hikes. It looked cooler than Great Smoky Mountains. I'll give it that. So I think I'll move it before Great Smoky Mountains based on my experience, which was very limited. The tree was cool, but the trees of Sequoia, I think, were cooler. We saw more of them there. So pretty middle tier.
Yeah. I'd put it in the top of C tier.
Top of C. Yeah, I think I'm going C tier too. I just don't.
Yeah, maybe if I looked up some pictures of what the canyon was like, but
You know what?
Just-
I agree with
I'm
you.
just going
Better
by
than
based on
Guadalupe.
on the tree.
Which one was Canyonlands again? That was the one with that arch and stuff? Okay, I remember. Nothing too memorable. Trees don't impress me, even though they were big.
Yeah.
All right, Kobuk Valley, Alaska.
Yep.
Look at those animals. Definitely here. Lake Clark, Alaska.
Also Alaska, yeah.
Here. Lassen Volcanic. Am I the
Also
only one that's
Alaska.
been to Lassen Volcanic?
It's a U park, yes.
It's a bee park. You know what? This is gonna be because Shura is looking so lonely, and I'm gonna put it above Canyonlands too. The problem with this park is it fucking stinks. Like it smells like the sulfur or whatever. That whole thing. I don't know. Arthur probably knows better than I do. The park stinks. It's worth going there for the one-time visit because it's different. But I don't know if I'd go back. I guess if it was on the way, we were all on the trip. You guys were like, we gotta go there.
We pretty much drove past it on our first road trip. It was a small detour, and I feel like we should have done it, but we, for some reason, didn't. So
we're
probably never going to hit it.
On that first road trip, we were thinking we were going to do all the national parks. Like, I don't think we realized what it was going to become. We were on that first road trip.
Yeah, so that's a big regret I have. Oh well.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, in California.
I actually even remember seeing signs for it as we were driving.
We were that close?
Oh, God.
Yeah. It was like, take this road to go to Lassen. And it was like, maybe like 30, 40 kilometers. It was that close.
Wow.
That's over.
Oh, well.
Okay. All right. Mammoth Cave. Fuck. You know what? I'll go first. And I'm going to put it in the fucking F tier, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. What was Great Basin? Oh, it's definitely better than Great Basin. There was no fucking mammoths. I was so disappointed. I was so incredibly disappointed. You can't name the park Mammoth Cave and not have some mammoth skulls or something.
Yeah, you think like at least in the gift shop section they'd have like
And in hindsight, maybe they mean mammoth like it's huge, like it's a mammoth cave. But I didn't realize that when we were headed there.
Yeah, that is why it's called Mammoth Cave. It's because of the great big chamber.
Okay, you want to know what's a mammoth cave? Carlsbad Caverns is a mammoth cave. That should be called Mammoth Cave. F tier.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Mammoth Cave. I'd put it a low B tier.
End.
Now that I've gone to Carlsbad, it's like, every other cave. Come on. It was neat. There's some like history of like them mining saltpeter, I think it was, in the cave. So then you got some like slave history going on there, and our tour guide told us the story of one slave that like actually was able to buy his way out of slavery from giving Mammoth Cave tours, which is kind of neat. But other than that, I don't know. Big cave?
Yeah. Big cave, not memorable cave. So for me, C, maybe better than Canyonlands. Just because caves are, I guess, cool, but it was the worst cave. So, yeah. And Kentucky sucks. That's another thing.
Kentucky does suck. So what's the other cave? Wind Cave?
Yeah.
Wind Cave, yes.
Wind Cave, okay, that's down at the... lesson. Mesa Verde, we just missed it. Mount Rainier. Yeah, Mount Rainier's pretty cool. I'm gonna put it in Dope AF. Yeah, you know what? It's gonna go ahead of Carlsbad Cap.
Did we actually
like mountains.
go on Mount Rainier?
Yeah, we did a whole hike, remember?
No.
All the marmots.
Okay. You know what?
And we saw glaciers maybe for the first time.
That's S tier.
We saw glaciers out in the distance.
Okay. I just needed to be reminded of the marmots. And Don was on that one too, right?
And Max was there. I know Max was.
Sure. I was there. I remember going past Mount Rainier and it being really smoky. I thought we had to bypass it.
I think
on the Pacific
maybe
West
that
trip?
was Olympic.
Maybe we did
Olympic.
Mount Rainier and it was really cool. Yeah, actually, I remember the little creatures. Yeah, and there was like we split up, and Adam and Andrew and I went on kind of a lower path, but it was quite beautiful. Lots of like little trickling streams surrounded by moss.
Yeah, the
going down the
shortcut.
side of the mountain.
The shortcut did not exist, so it was very long.
Yeah, we thought we were going on the shorter path, and it did not end up that way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a really good one.
Me, Tyler, and Max got yelled at by a ranger for going off path.
Yeah.
Adam got yelled at a little bit by the same ranger.
Did he really? I don't remember.
It's like one step off the path, and he's like, "Hey, stay on the path."
Where are you rating it, Arthur?
Yeah, I think S tier. I mean, honestly, it's a huge, gigantic volcano and it's got glaciers, but end of S tier. Would go again. Dope hike. Would climb the real mountain. There was that video where the guy died falling into the ice crevice. That was also cool.
Yes.
That's something I
Awesome.
watched separately. What I'm saying is, it's a cool place. And even driving in, there was like a really cool waterfall we drove past and looked at. So it's not only the mountain.
All right, same area, North Cascades.
We've been to North Cascades.
North Cascades is directly after we left Vancouver. We drove into Washington, and then we drove into North Cascades. It's where we saw multiple hydroelectric dams, and
Yeah,
we didn't really
hiked
have that
down
much
to one of
time.
them.
Yeah, we hacked down and onto one of them. That was
And
pretty
it
much
has
all
the
the time we
crazy
had.
like water, like you can see. We were here, I think, where we saw this water thing.
Yeah,
I think
the
we
lake,
saw mountain goats.
the lake
That-
lookout was dope.
That dam was a part of the park?
Yes.
Holy shit. I've never
I
counted
don't-
that in my accounts.
I don't know if we went to the visitor center. So it
We
almost
did,
doesn't count.
yeah.
Oh, did we?
It was literally closing in like 10 minutes from when we got there.
Oh, where are you rating?
I remember us running into it. We had like almost zero time. We didn't
I
make it.
remember us running into like a
lot
dozen. That does not narrow it down for me.
Yeah, I liked all the pine needles. The trees were kind of neat. I liked the hike down to the dam. Dam was cool. I liked the lake lookout. It was very pretty. The temperature was nice. And overall, for me, it was a great park. I would put it... Ah, man. Do I really put it in A tier? Or do I put it in front of B tier? I'll put it at the end of A tier.
End of age here. All right. Andy?
I'm going to put it in front of Capitol Reef. I just like that dam. That was fun. And we climbed on that thing that maybe we shouldn't have climbed on, but that was cool.
Yeah, I'm going A tier as well. I really liked it. I just honestly that whole North Cascades area and Alberta, British Columbia, Montana, like I was saying, I just love that entire area. That's like area in America. So I'm gonna go just after Joshua Tree though, because I loved that Joshua.
Nice.
All right, in the same area, it's all freaking alphabetic. Olympic.
Yeah, so Olympic, sadly, we didn't see the body of Olympic that much, right? Because that road was actually closed, if you remember, into the mountainous area of Olympic. So we had to drive in a big detour, and then we went to the coast of Olympic, which is also part of the park.
Yeah,
Um,
was a
and
burn.
then we drove back sort of into it, and we stopped at that lake cottage type of area, which was meh. So the beach for me was super dope. I love the beach. I think Max like cut his leg open on the beach, which was
Ruby Beach?
amusing.
Was that the same place?
Classic Max adventure, yeah.
Right.
And,
It's one of the multiple places Max gets injured.
I guess Max.
Yeah,
isn't
so
here anymore.
we didn't see the body of Olympic, which makes me real sad. So because of that, I would definitely go back and see the rest of it. But the beach was super dope, which is probably A worthy for me. I'm going to put it at the end of A.
Nice. I love that beach. If I could live close to a beach like that, like, come on. That'd be great. I love seeing giant rocks just off the coast. And like, there's all those trees on the top. I'm going to put that just after Teton in S tier.
Wow, new number 3.
I love the little streams going through. There was an arch on the beach. Little crabs and stuff going on there. It was great. That was a great beach.
Was that Olympic? I had that in the Oregon coast, like, so confused.
They look pretty much identical, yeah. But I don't remember which was which. But honestly, they look identical.
Yeah, Ruby Beach was very specific to me.
Yeah, and I actually went there a second time with Mac, and we did the hike that we didn't do, Mount Eleanor or something. But honestly, there was no fire watch tower at the end, so the hike that we did on the other side, I don't remember any of these locations, but that hike was better with the fire watch. But Olympic was still really cool, and I'm maybe gonna put it right here. Yeah, okay, I'll put it because of the beach, for sure. Petrified Forest.
It was okay. I feel like I'd put that in the lower B tier.
Yeah.
It is what it is. The rocks are crystals. It's cool. It was a little bit windy. Lots of sneezing going on, dustiness. Yeah, I don't know. You could go there.
I'm gonna go. What did you put it in? Oh, you put it in B. I'm gonna put it in C. At the very beginning of C, though. Just because we'd already seen that, like, the blue Mesa Verde area or whatever was cool, but we'd already seen that, and like the wood was like, it was cool to see a one piece of wood, but then all the pieces of wood were just more pieces of wood, and it was really, really flat. There wasn't really anything else to look at except for like a field of pieces of wood. Yeah. I was like, man, this is like. If it wasn't on the list, I don't even know if I'd be going there. Maybe I should even put it in F tier. But I'll leave it because the wood was cool. Like, I definitely would say go there to see the wood. I mean, 200 million year old crystallized wood just on its own is so. Number 1 of C tier for me.
Yeah, kind of similar sentiment. Wood is cool. Everything else kind of crap. It had, honestly, the Badlands that we did see there surprised me, so that was a big bonus. And that little hike down the hill into the Badlands, definitely bonus points, moving it out of F for me and into C. But where in C do you put it? So, is it better than Capitol Reef? Is it better than Canyonlands? Just put it in the middle between Mammoth and Canyonlands.
Right. Inducted in 2013 by Barack Obama. Is the 57th, I think, national park, maybe 58th national park. Pinnacles in California. Don's been there.
Is Don still here?
It's very pretty. And the nice thing about that was one of the ones we went to during the super bloom, or like part of, I guess we got the tail end of the super bloom in California. So there was all these wildflowers like leading up to the rocks, like in little orange California poppies. Very nice.
Yeah, not a super hard hike or anything, but you did get some good views, and you can be on the top of some spiky rocks.
We got some great pictures. Yeah. It was very picturesque.
A little bit ruined by some guy who was trying to sing a Queen song, forget the song, but I was like, can this guy shut up?
Yeah, there were a couple of those out there.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, I guess I could put that in low A tier.
Low A tier?
Yeah.
I like this.
I had a good time.
Ooh. Second row.
Yeah.
I am going to put it at the very top of B tier. Just because, I don't know.
Sure.
It was cool, but it wasn't top of B. Really close to the bottom
there was
of it.
that on the way back down. There was a lot of cool climbing. Remember, you had to go up like a little ladder up, and then you had to go back down, and then there was a little tunnel through the rocks. So that was cool.
And then there were these like elderly ladies like hiking with their like walking sticks, and they were like coming back. They were like, "Oh, is it much further?" We were like, "Oh, a little ways, not bad." And then we saw what they had already done, and we were like, "Whoa, these guys are serious."
Yeah, so it was a nice hike, but it's gonna be somewhere in the middle of B tier. Honestly, maybe worse than Guadalupe, but the hike was better than Guadalupe. But I would never go back. You see, that's the difficulty I'm having here.
I would go back.
Unless I was right next to it, I don't really see any reason to do it again. Guadalupe, I would go back and do Guadalupe Peak, which... So,
But
you know what?
if you had done Guadalupe Peak, would you have wanted to go back?
No. Okay, fine. Let's put it before Guadalupe. Good point.
Set in stone. All right, fam. Redwood.
So Redwood
of all the tree parks that we've gone to, Redwood was probably my favorite tree park.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna rate it wherever I rated the other tree park, Kings Canyon. You know what? I'm gonna put it even higher. I'm gonna put it above Canyon. Actually, you know what? I'll put it next to... You know what? I'm putting it above?
Yes, dude. Yes.
Number one. Number one on sure.
Nice. For me?
Because it had some cool areas. I remember we went on that drive through like the trees and it wasn't like crazy, but it was like really dope. You know what, Andrew? Fuck it. Worth the trip.
Oh
yes, dude.
Second tier worth the trip. I'm moving it out. It was a good park.
I would have to put it to the very right of S tier.
Are you for real?
Oh.
I'm for real. And part of that is because I loved Return of the Jedi.
Oh yeah, you were talking about it.
Redwood Forest is basically Endor because that's where they filmed it. So it's like going to Endor. Alright? Plus the trees are huge. I'm pretty sure they're bigger than any of the other trees that we've seen. Like, I don't know, just giant trees. It's cool. And they're red. What more do you need? S tier.
Honestly, since you told me that Star Wars thing, I want to move it up. But I'm not gonna.
Yeah, where am I gonna put it? Somewhere in B tier. You know what? Let's put it in front of Pinnacles. Is it better than Biscayne? I definitely would want to go back there because it honestly looks like there's a lot of hikes through really cool forest settings. Unique forest setting. So definitely would want to go back there. Would I want to do it more than the snorkeling again? You know what? Let's put it after Grand Canyon.
Ooh. Yeah. Good park. I like Rocky Mountains. God, Rocky Mountains was pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting, but the little drive that we did through it, like from one side to the other, and we made some stops. I don't even know if we really did any hikes.
The most dramatic parts of the Rocky Mountains actually north of the border, like in Canada.
Where's Rocky Mountain? Oh, it's in Colorado.
But the Banff is also Rocky Mountains, right?
Yeah, it's all like the Rocky Mountains.
I mean, it's a huge
Colorado
area.
Is this where we saw that moose? Rocky Mountains?
So, yeah, on the first day we did like a side bottom, like a low level Rocky Mountains where we saw the moose. And then on the next day, we drove up and through it, and we went to a peak that was 14,000 feet, I believe, and you were having difficulty breathing over there.
That sounds right.
And
This
then we...
This was the trip I was on, was it? This was a different one than the Pacific Northwest trip?
No, yeah, you weren't there. And then we drove down, and we were going to do a hike, which was supposed to be a really cool hike. And then when we got there, the hike was blocked because the parking lot was so full, and there was a giant lineup. And so we waited in it for like 3 minutes, and then we're like, okay, it's going to take like 2 hours to get into this parking lot. So we went to another hike, which was a waterfall hike. And then as we were going to that hike, it started raining real hard. So we didn't even make it to the waterfall all the way. And we turned back. So it was a lot of disappointment.
I remember all of this.
But so I'll rate Rocky Mountains. I want to go back because, first of all, Rocky Mountains is huge. There's so much.
Yeah, we
stuff
obviously
to do there.
didn't do the cool part.
And I feel like we just didn't get to do anything cool because we went, it was like, I think it was Saturday, which is why it was so packed. So we went at a really bad time. Don't go on Saturday. You won't get into any of the cool hikes. I do want to go back. Would I want to go back to Pinnacles? No. Would I want to go back to Rocky Mountains? Yes. Would I want to go back and do some snorkeling? Yes. Redwoods. It's somewhere there, you know? Biscayne, Redwood, Rocky Mountain. Let's put it after Biscayne.
Sounds good.
All right. Andrew?
Yeah, put it after Crater Lake for me. A lot of disappointment. I guess I honestly don't really remember it that well, like Crater Lake. But I would go back because I think thinking about the Rocky Mountains, I'm just thinking of the beginning of The Shining, where it's just like a bunch of helicopter footage of them driving through the Rocky Mountains, and it looks dope. It did not seem like that to me. Kind of was not that mountainous from what I remember. I don't know. Maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, but kind of whatever.
So when I was like 15 years old and my brother was living in Colorado, we went into the mountains and we hiked one of the 14,000 feet mountains. We started at like 11,000 or something. And it was one of the better hiking experiences, at least. I don't know. It would be up there with like Zion and the Delta Lake hike for me. But I don't even know if that was in Rocky Mountains National Park, and I wish I did know if it was in there. But that trip set the bar like so high for me that when we went on the trip this time, and it wasn't anything like the last time I went somewhere in Colorado, I was like so incredibly disappointed. And that's on top of all the things that Arthur just said about things getting canceled and stuff. So I'm going to put it in sure just because I really don't know how to feel about it. I guess I would rather go there than Pinnacles. So I'll put it at the top of sure. But that's mostly based on the possibility that it could be cool, not the cool experiences that I've had.
All right.
Saguaro or Sawero? Sawero?
So I believe it's Saguaro or something like that.
Saguaro, okay.
Saguaro. All right. I put that in the top of C tier for myself. I think by the time we got here, I was tired of the desert and my mouth being dry. It was a little bit hot.
Terrible day where we had to drive out of the way.
Yeah. Well, the cactuses were cool, but you kind of see these cactuses when you leave Phoenix on the airport, so. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I'm definitely going to go C tier as well. And I guess I would rather go there than go to the Petrified Forest again. So I'll put it at the top of don't go out of your way.
C tier for me as well. Cactuses, super cool. Love the cactuses. It's so hot. It's brutal. Not much hiking to do unless you just want to hike in the sun and look at cacti, which honestly, once you see like 5 of them next to you, you got the picture, right? So better than Petrified Forest. Is it better than the cave? Yeah, no.
Right. Sequoia. I'm really sad that we didn't do this like drive through the tree thing, right? We didn't do that, right?
But there was a tree that was falling over that we walked through. Wasn't that a thing here?
Yeah, but not this thing here. Like, do you see this image? It's really tiny, but there's this like
That's a car.
they've like cut out a car spot and you drive through it like a tiny tunnel.
Mm.
I see lots of pictures on the internet of it, and we didn't do it. But it was still cool. Was it cooler than the other tree park? What was the other tree park? You know what?
Kings
I'm gonna
Canyon.
go cooler than Petrified Forest.
Yeah, the entrance into the park was really cool because we did the switchbacks up into it, and it was a really nice view as you were driving into it. There was a lot of tree walks, so there was like General Sherman, right? And then you could walk into the trees, and that was all cool. Again, we couldn't do a real hike because it was snowed in because we went in April, so we didn't get to experience the park in its completeness. Because of that, I would want to go back. Would I want to go back to it more than Rocky Mountain? Yes. Would I want to? Yeah. Better than Rocky Mountain. Put me there.
Okay. B tier.
Yeah, you could put me in front of Indiana Dunes in B tier.
Yeah, you know, trees.
They're nice.
All
Yeah,
right, Shenandoah.
Before we leave Sequoia, some people got a special tree experience that I didn't get. So because of that, it wasn't that memorable to me. But
What happened?
There was a large perimeter fence that said "Do not
That you walked
cross."
over? Okay, yeah, I remember that. I wasn't
Certain
sure
people
was
might have
It was
been
it
unable
was
to
not-
resist,
Yeah.
even though there was multiple trees that were pretty close to being that size. Oh well.
All right, Shenandoah. I've been to Shenandoah twice, and both times it got fogged out, so I've never actually seen like the view from the top. And if I was just judging on the first time I went there, it would be a lot lower. But the second time I went there with you guys, we did that fucking hike through the like with the river and a couple of waterfalls and stuff, and it was so foggy that the hike looked like fucking magical. I'm honestly gonna rate it probably in fucking A tier. And I don't know where in A tier. I definitely want to go back and like see the actual view. But that waterfall hike in the fog was so dope that I'm gonna put it. I'll just put it at the end. I don't know. 'Cause it could be better. But I'm going worth the end of A tier.
Alright, yeah. Yeah, I'd put it at the end of A tier as well. Partially that's just because of the Country Road song mentioned Shenandoah, and it's like, well, I've been to Shenandoah now, and I know even more the country roads.
But also Smoky Mountains is mentioned in the song.
Yeah, but Smoky Mountains wasn't that great. So
Okay. Well,
sorry.
I'm gonna say
Blue Ridge Mountains that are mentioned in that song.
oh yeah, Blue Ridge Mountain.
Yeah, Blue Ridge Mountains.
That is Shenandoah.
That's Shenandoah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like West
Okay.
Virginia.
Blue Ridge Parkway, yeah, you're right.
Oh, it was neat. It was too bad about the fog, but it was still cool. It was another one of those burning brake situations, though, too.
Yeah, it was a bad trip for me.
I'm gonna put it right in front of Smoky Mountains. They were kind of similar to me. We couldn't see anything because of this fog, which was in itself cool, but and the
Great
waterfall
Smoky
was
Mountains.
nice.
Right here.
Waterfall. Actually, is it worse than Smoky Mountains?
No.
Yeah, worse than Smoky Mountains.
Really?
Yeah. Sorry, fam.
Better than Everglades?
Honestly, I'm thinking at some point some of these bees have to go down to sea, but yeah.
I guess we'll do like a quick recap at the end. Any changes need to be made.
This is coming up at the wrong moment, but I just got a message from a friend who's currently going down the West Coast on Highway 101 on vacation. And she's telling me she's like, I'm not coming home. Like this is it. She's in Half Moon Bay in California, and she's like, okay, we're good.
It's like why do people live in other places?
Yeah, well, because California hasn't declared independence yet. That's why.
Cool. Alright. Theodore Roosevelt.
All right, Virgin Island. Oh yeah, sorry. We haven't been there. We were almost going to do it on that one trip, but it was like 5 hours north. It was like a Saturday.
Yeah, that's in North Dakota, and we're probably never going to see it.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be one of those rando trips if we ever do. It's probably not that great what the hell it's of. It kind of looks cool, but I don't know. It also kind of looks like Ontario, I think. We'll see. Virgin Islands, probably great. How long it's going to be till we get there, but probably great. Volcanoes, is that Hawaii? I mean, it's not the... Is that the Virgin Islands that's like farther than Hawaii?
Virgin Islands...
Samoa.
Oh yeah,
right?
Virgin Islands is next to Puerto Rico, so it's
Where's
like... Yeah, it's the middle of...
Oh, we might get there. I don't think we're ever getting to the American Samoa.
Yeah.
That is like way out there. I feel like we could get to the Virgin Islands maybe. Okay, volcanoes, is that also Hawaii?
Yeah.
Is that the second Hawaii volcano one? Voyagers.
That's Minnesota.
Yeah, that's kind of going to be like... All right, White Sands. We just did it. Last row. I'll go first. You know what? It was kind of cool. It had less of an effect than Great Sand Dunes just because I was prepared. But the white sand really was white. That was kind of neat. And even though the sledding wasn't amazing, you guys sledding was hilarious. That honestly brought the park up for me. I guess I'm going to put it at the... God, I don't feel good about that Rocky Mountain. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to put it there and right in the middle.
Nice.
It was cool. It was small. The whole American missile testing site thing was kind of cool, but kind of lame at the same time. I don't know how to feel about the park.
Yeah, it would have been neat if we had gone to one of those. There's a missile silo that you could visit, but yeah, whatever.
That would have been.
Or a missile museum. We could see some missiles. Basically, just look at a bunch of tubes. But yeah, I'd just put that right behind Great Sand Dunes for myself. Not as good as Great Sand Dunes, but still neat. Be nice if I could have taken some of that sand. If I could take that sand, I would have put it above Great Sand Dunes, but they said no. No.
Yeah, the sand was amazing, but dunes weren't as big as Great Sand Dunes, and we've already been to sand dunes, so it lessened the experience a little bit.
Yeah,
but
once you've seen Great Sand Dunes, you're like, what else even is there in terms of sand dunes?
Yeah, great park otherwise. Maybe in front of Pinnacles. Again, I wouldn't go back to White Sand Dunes, but it was a great experience. Yeah, in front of Pinnacles.
The last of the caves. Wind Cave.
Yeah.
Wind Cave and Mammoth Cave kind of blend together in my head, so it's tough for me to...
The only thing that separates Wind Cave was Justin. We had a dope tour guide.
So what are you rating Justin's Wind Cave experience?
Oh man. Well, the cave itself was also neat. It had different formations, from being like a lake, dried out lake bed, and having all the seaweeds or whatever, making weird fossil formations. I would put it above Bryce Canyon.
Boom.
Thanks.
Bryce Canyon.
Yeah. It was probably the tightest cave that we've visited. Like, going through
Okay,
stuff.
that helps. Was this the first cave that we went to?
Yes. And we did get to see buffalo, right? Or we saw a bunch of prairie dogs, at least.
Yeah. You guys are so wrong about this cave.
It was nice.
Oh God, he's gonna rate it highly. I'm gonna go. Yeah. I'm gonna go maybe somewhere and don't go out of your way. I guess it was kind of cool. Okay, I'll put a number 1 in. Don't go out. Second highest rated cave. Lay it on us, Arthur. Tell us how great the cave is.
The prairie dogs. How many? It was like millions. It was literally a sea of nonstop prairie dogs. That in itself was amazing. So many prairie dogs. It had buffalo. All the rabbits at the visitor center. Almost nobody there in the park in general, which is great. So even the non-cave part was dope. The cave, these were tight caves, which honestly I actually like more than Carlsbad Caverns, because Carlsbad Caverns is so open, but I really like the tight caves. So that's really dope. So the thing with Carlsbad Cavern is that it had really cool formations inside of it, which was not that much of a case in Wind Cave. So this is the one cave I would go back to, okay? I wouldn't go back to Carlsbad Caverns. I would go back to this cave. But on the other hand, if I was suggesting someone go to a cave to see cool cave stuff, I would suggest them to go to Carlsbad Caverns. So I'm going to put Wind Cave probably in front of Olympic. It was a dope cave. The tour was dope. Outside the cave, the prairie dogs was amazing. The buffalo were cool. Yeah. Solid cave life.
All right, you've convinced me. I'll move it up to like maybe just next to White Sand. The buffalo. Did we all rate it? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I can't even read this because it's so tiny, but it looks like Alaska.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Wrangler, St. Elias.
Wrangler.
All right, Yellowstone of Old Faithful, and that dope-ass pool that was multicolored.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I feel like we'll sound like idiots because Yellowstone is like the most popular park in the world, and we're all going to be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, Old Faithful.
I actually really liked it. I thought the pinnacle. What was the name of the glory? Morning Glory or something? Was that final pool on the boardwalk?
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was nice.
I'm going worth the trip. I don't know where in worth the trip.
I think I'd put it at the top of B. It was nice, but also I wouldn't want to go back. I don't know. I feel like it's probably one of the most visited just because it's probably in a convenient spot for some people or something. That or just seeing the active volcano like in somewhere is like kind of cool. I don't know. It was alright. But it's kind of just some water shooting out of the ground and some weird puddles on the ground.
Well, that sounds cool, though.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're really close. You put it at the, like, and I put it
yeah.
Same thing.
Have we already passed the Hawaii parks?
Well, we just skipped them.
Are you guys nervous about visiting Hawaii parks given that volcanic disaster at the New Zealand volcano park that happened last year or the year before?
No.
No, I hadn't even heard about anything happening.
Yeah, there was a bunch of tourists visiting a volcanic national park, and it erupted, and a bunch of people died, and people who got out had severe burns all over their bodies.
Well, did they die because it was hot, or did they die from breathing in like acid air?
Probably both. Probably both.
Well,
The hot ash and
we'll bring masks.
yeah, you know.
I don't think we're gonna get that close to the volcanoes, do we?
Well, the thing is, it's like they're not meant to be active, so I think they were letting people get close. I think it was even like that one, I think it was an island. So like people are walking on, volcanic stone on the island and then filming, and they're like, oh look, like you can see like bubbling or lava, like little lava. It just straight up erupted.
Really, we're gonna get as close to a volcano as we're allowed to, I think, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, if we have the opportunity to see lava, we're gonna go see lava.
I'm gonna be disappointed if I don't see lava.
Yeah.
I don't know if you actually like
at least a hot vent.
You want to see lava, actually. Like you think you want to see lava, but I think if you were near lava, you'd be like, I no longer want to see lava.
Don, did you remember lava lasagna?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, just bring a heat shield blanket.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, if it's in a control, like, it's not a, maybe it's okay, but still. Hey, Mission.
Yeah. So, Arthur, did you rate Yosemite or Yellowstone?
Did you both rate it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing is, Yellowstone is like the 4th largest park, and we just saw the pools pretty much. Okay, so I feel like we're missing so much. There's just like some cool waterfalls there. I feel like there's so many cool hikes there, and I would definitely go back. But the pools themselves, they're cool, but they're just pools of stuff. So based on my experience, I guess maybe I should put it after Wind Cave. I would definitely go back.
Before Olympic?
Yeah. I would definitely go back because it's like one of the largest parks, and we just drove
we did
not see
much of it.
I'm sure there's so much more better stuff in there to see, so
it also had like the area.
But yeah, there was also buffalo there. Remember on the road there was a giant buffalo blocking the road?
Yes, what I was thinking about when I was thinking about Yellowstone was like this was like the worst park that I'd ever driven in. I think that was Yellowstone, where people were also just like stopping randomly on the road and stuff.
Yeah, to look at the animals.
That shit was like driving me.
Pools were cool, but not the coolest thing ever.
Even the geyser was cool. It's insane to me that it like goes off at the same amount of time every time.
The thing with the geyser is there were so many people there.
It was
ruined it for me.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. All right, I would think that this is like the most popular park in America.
Yeah, that's what I would, I guess.
Yosemite?
Yeah.
Everybody fucking loves Yosemite. And sadly, it kind of makes me dislike the park a little bit just because everybody fucking loves it.
How popular it is and busy the times. Leaving the park, almost impossible. Getting into the park, almost impossible.
Yeah, all of that stuff. It is a cool drive, though. You go through the tunnels in the side of the mountain when you're like going down into stuff.
Yeah, but it just gets so busy in there.
I want to rate it high, but like have some hatred for Yosemite for no reason.
I'm gonna rate it high because I didn't have to drive.
I know, and it is still really cool. That fucking like half dome from a distance far away. The first time we went there and we like stopped and the sun was setting like farther away. I don't know if you guys remember that, and you could see like Half Dome. It was a cool stop that we made.
Yeah, on the way out.
The second, on the way out, like when we were driving, because on the first time we went there, we drove through it. Like we made stops and then we kept going. And then the second time we went into it and then came back because we were going to California. We didn't like drive through, but the first time we drove through the whole thing and ended up on the other side of California. But the second time we went there, we did freaking the the High Falls hike or whatever, and that was insane. That hike was crazy. Not better than like Tetons or, spoiler alert, Zion, but it was still a great hike. So I am going to rate it, you know what, I guess it's gotta be, I'm gonna put it after Bryce Canyon. Bryce Canyon, I really like the ride.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna put
I'm surprised.
I know, well, I have this hatred. You think it should be higher?
You have the hatred for just being popular?
Yeah, I hate it for being popular and everybody just being like, "Oh, Yosemite's so great!" Like there is no park that I hear more about than Yosemite. It makes me a little bit sick of it.
But it's so great. It was so dramatic.
Hey, I put it in the A tier. I put it in the middle of the A tier. It's not
one of the easiest
What I'm
parks to
saying is
get to.
there's a lot of hype, but it's also like, to me, I'm like, if it lived up to the hype, like I can see why it's hyped, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta put Yosemite just after Mount Rainier. You know, Yosemite, I feel like that's the first national park that I went to that was like, oh, this is like actually something special, national parks. And it's kind of a magical place, you know, that first time that we went and we hiked halfway up a thing and we're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But,
that was the same hike.
Oh.
Yeah, that you guys did later.
The downside to me was the crowds. Like, it was busy.
Big
but,
crowds.
I mean, the further you went, the less that was a problem.
I really like the meadow part. Like, in between the roads, there's, like, the stream, and, like, you know, every now and again you'll catch a glimpse of a waterfall through some giant trees and stuff. I forget the name of the hike that Adam, Don, and I did, but that was nice. Go up, got real close to a waterfall and got soaked on the way up, and then...
Yeah, and then, like, you get above the waterfall and you can, like, look down at the people standing by the waterfall and you're like, man, this is enormous. It was, like, very cool.
And from the top of that waterfall, you further on, there's just another waterfall. It's like land of waterfalls and cliffs.
It's given.
Giant stones. It was cool.
Arthur?
Yeah, definitely one of the better parks, but I think I'm going to put it to the front of A tier.
I've been wearing the hat.
S tier.
It's an amazing park. The hikes, like the waterfall hike, well, one of the best hikes I think we've done. All the views are cool. Too many people, which honestly, I don't take too much away from it, but yeah, I think front of A, maybe even end of S, but we'll put it at front of A.
All right, fam, the final park on the list. 2.5 hours later.
Good old Zion.
This is a word.
Good old Zion.
See it.
Zion is A tier for me, or it's S tier for me, and I don't know where to put it. It's somewhere in the top 4. Zion, Angel's Landing, and I wish Max was still here because we did it, and then we didn't realize Andrew was coming up behind, but like at the time that I was doing it, it was just me and Max, and none of you guys wanted to like come. Whoever was there, I don't remember, and it was so great, and the scramble up, it was so cool. It's by far my top favorite hike that we've ever done, and I guess I gotta put it ahead of Grand Tetons maybe for that reason, but I don't feel good about that because I love the mountain. I guess I'm going to put it at 3. I guess I'm going to put it at 3. It could be all these 4 top parks. Well, you know what? We haven't been to Glacier really. We have, but we haven't. Any of these 3 top parks could be like alternated, and I wouldn't be. But I'll stick with number 3. Favorite hike, but it's kind of annoying taking that shuttle and doing stuff. And
I like being on the shuttle with everybody.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Neat
I guess
shuttle
in
time.
hindsight, if you plan it out, I just hate having to like have such a, and it's
Yeah.
funny to say this because I always make strict plans, but I hate having to like, I hate having to rely on other people's strict plans, which is so telling.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm
Arthur,
going number 3.
what are you thinking, Arthur?
Great park. Is it better than Yosemite? See, to me, they're almost equal. But then I'm thinking, is it worse than Mount Rainier?
Think about that
See, that's
drive that the
hard.
very first time we did, and we did that drive, and then all of a sudden you're like on the side of
And
the
we
mountain,
look that honestly even better
and
than
they've like dug the tunnel out with like the
yeah, it was super dope. So maybe you know what? I'll put it in front of Mount Rainier. The thing is, I don't know how much else there is to do there. But yeah, okay, we'll put it in front of Mount Rainier after Glacier. But then I feel like Yosemite has to move up as well. Yeah, we'll just leave it as is. Overall, super dope park.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I'm gonna put it just after Olympic and S tier. The drive-in is nice to look at. The switchbacks going down, you get a good view when you're in the back seat, you're looking out. And yeah, we've been there at least twice, and both hikes were great. Angel's Landing, pretty cool. Not as spooky as I was led to believe, but still pretty cool. There was a chipmunk that followed us most of the way up, so that was fun too.
And there was like turkeys or something on the bus road, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So now that you've got them all on the chart, I'm like looking across and I'm comparing everyone's taste in park. I think there's some consensus, especially near the bottom. I think there's some consensus. I guess at the top too. There's definitely some that are. I'm like trying to figure out. Do some people like deserts more than others? Do some people like trees more than others?
Well, I think Arthur likes the desert more than I do, at least. Like looking at my S tiers, the only deserty one that I have in the S tier is Zion. And that's like...
Yeah.
Not...
Only one red rock up there.
Yeah.
Zion and Arches and Mount Rainier are the only ones that we all agree on. Zion, Glacier.
Wow.
Oh no, you don't
Arches
have Glacier. Arches.
Yeah.
Zion, Arches. Oh no, you don't have Arches. You got Arches in A.
Yeah. Which is still high. They're in the top of A.
Grand Teton. Let's Grand Teton Arches. Not Arches. No, you don't have Grand. Yeah, we definitely have some stuff the last one. So I just counted them up, and I'm at 38. Andrew, you're at 37, and Arthur is at 39.
Ooh, so close.
We gotta go to Florida. Catch up.
Yeah.
And we gotta go to Arcadia.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20. So 25, and then one park is missing. That park that just got added that we haven't.
New River Gorge.
So you got
That's
26 more parks to go.
New River Gorge is close to like Smoky Mountains somewhere, right? So we're probably never gonna hit it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere.
Oh well.
24, and I got 25 parks to go.
Ooh. Wow.
How many years has it taken to hit these ones that you've hit so far?
Well,
I mean, what was the year of that first trip?
that is a great question.
2015?
I think it was October 2015.
10 years
well,
or so, less?
Look at my Excel sheets.
7 years. 7 years this October.
You're on.
Considering we missed 2 years because of COVID, that's not really... Well, it's really good, actually. In preparation for this, I was watching somebody rate parks, and he had been to 58, and he was 17 years old.
Wow. Rich boy.
That was insane.
On the road.
I feel like this is 5 years of parking, if you don't count 2021 and 2020.
You did hit some during those years, though, right?
No, because we weren't allowed to go to America.
Didn't you just go on one?
That was 2022.
Oh, I see. So you're excluding 2020, 2021.
Yeah, we had the trip planned for April 2020. And then
When was that?
No.
When was, what's the one I'm trying to think of? Stars of the Sea. Not Congregate, but the other one.
Carlsbad? Cuyahoga?
Yeah, like a Cuyahoga, yeah. The Cuyahoga trip. Was that 2019?
Yeah, it was 2019. Day 977.
Are you going to cut this with like clips and pictures from these parks? Or
Oh God, that's a lot of work.
this is like a 2 hour long?
I could.
You've been recording it too, right, Andrew?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's recording the best? All right, should we shut her down?
I think that's it. Anyone have any last words?
This was fun to watch. I'll probably watch it again.
They were all worth going to for me.
I've missed a lot of the top ones, you know?
I have no regrets going to these F-tier ones. But,
would you have regrets if you weren't trying to see every single...
Yes, I would have regrets.
Goddamn Cuyahoga.
Thank heavens for the completionist in all of us.
Yeah.
Because it makes every park worth it. So where are we going next? What's the next park? Probably Acadia? We're going to go visit Max?
Yeah.
Maybe go to Acadia?
Go to Arcadia. Then
I might go visit
Royale.
Jay and Rachel. I might see Gateway Arch this summer without you guys.
That doesn't count. It's a fake park.
Yeah.
That's a Trump park.
It counts. Yeah, I might see Gateway.
Royale, Voyagers, and Indiana Dunes, maybe.
Yeah.
Are those the only three that we would see on the Great Lakes road trip?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought there was like one more,
But that's 3 parks you guys haven't seen, right?
All the parks are like, the dense parks are all in the Southwest, you know?
No, yeah, we've done a lot of the den, for sure. Well, I am most looking forward to Gates of the Arctic.
Wow.
Also, the American Samoa, like, I don't know if you can see this picture here, but the American Samoa looks amazing.
Realistically, American Samoa will be a nightmare because of the bugs.
It will. We're going there for one day. We're not even staying. We're flying in.
That's impossible.
We're flying in the morning. Look at that red eye. And we're going to fly in. We're going to fly
72 hours without sleep.
Red eye in, red eye out.
Red eye in, red eye out.
Yeah, the ones I want to see the most, Denali, which is the tallest mountain in North America.
Right, yeah.
And both of the Hawaiian ones.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Is there only 2 in Hawaii?
I never made Alaska trip when I was living in Seattle.
We could have taken an Alaskan cruise from Seattle.
Wow.
I did that.
Ooh,
When my grandparents were still alive.
Alaska would be pretty cool to see. I mean, I got to catch up on some of the ones that I've missed, too. Like, I haven't seen some of these top tier ones you guys have seen.
Same.
Hawaii, obviously, would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Alright, well, I'm going to stop recording this, guys. So, thanks for listening, everybody.